Om. 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 गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ऊषन् वै वाजश्रवसः सर्ववेदसं ददौ तस्य ह नचिकेता नाम पुत्र आस तं ह कुमारं सन्तं दक्षिणासु नीयमानासु श्रद्धा आविवेश सोमन्यत पीतोदका जग्धतृणा दुग्धदोहा निरिन्द्रियाः अनन्दा नाम ते लोकाः तान् स गच्छति ताददत्. So we saw the next one also. Sahovacha pitaram tata kasmai mam dasyasiti dvitiyam tritiyam tam hovacha mrityave tva dadamiti. So last week we concluded with the fourth verse, and here we were looking at the contemplation, and this is what is seen, that when a person is brought up in a cultured family, in a society where there is culture, he has gone to Gurukula, but here in this case, the Guru is the father and the father is also the father only. So it's two in one, because he's only 6-7 years old. He has not gone to Gurukula yet. But yet, and because his father is a teacher, just like Guru Dronacharya was a teacher, and he taught his son also along with the other princes. Same way, his father, Nachiketa's father, also is teaching other students come, and at the same time, his son is also studying along with him. But when he observes the, as was told in the previous verse, pito daka jagdatruna dugdha doha nirindriyaha, when he observes that his father is giving away, that anyone who is giving away such cows, which cows? Pito daka, those who have drunk all the water, now they don't have the strength to drink. Jagdatruna, they have eaten all the grass, they don't have strength to eat more grass. Dugdha doha, all the milk has been milked out of them, now they are incapable of giving any more milk. And nirindriyaha, they are incapable of having a progeny. Ananda namate lokaha saha gacchati tadadat. Anyone, he who gives such cows, what is his destiny or what is his destination? Ananda namate loka. Certainly he will gain unfavorable worlds where there is no ananda. See, this is the culture. He didn't say such a person will go to hell. In English parlance, it will be he will go to hell straight away. Here it is a ananda. Ananda is joy, bliss, joy. अभी आ गया. Ananda is bliss, joy, and I might as well start with this. Then my job will be easier. This drama has to go on. Good. So instead of saying he will go, such a person will go to hell, this shows the cultural background. And he's not even using the word my father. He is only saying anyone who gives something like this. So he's in a conundrum now. On one hand, he's observing his father, who is doing such a fantastic, one in a thousands would be able to do that, because Vishwajit Yagya means a person who has the capacity in this stage of life where he does this type of ritual, and after doing this ritual, the fire sacrifice, he gives away everything that he owns. And why would you do that? Last week I was telling you something with reference to that, and that is the Vanaprastha stage. The parents of Nachiketa are already grown up, old, late boy, late child. So now the stage is what? Vanaprastha. Even if it is not Vanaprastha, Vanaprastha is Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. That is the sequence. Even if we say that it is not Vanaprastha, it is an acceptance, because he is a Brahmin. So it is an acceptance of abundance available in this creation, that Lord will take care. And that is why whoever had such a courage, such a dedicated faith in the divine, such a person would only be able to do such a Vishwajit Yagya. Not every Tom, Dick and Harry. See? So on one hand, this is the conundrum of Nachiketa. On one hand, the father is doing such a great sacrifice. And on the other hand, he's still attached to some good cows. And what will be the result of that? He will not get a favorable blessing or the favorable destination. Remember the first verse when it began, Ushan havai vajashravasa. Ushan means with a desire. Vajashravasa, with a desire, did this ritual and act of giving away everything. So where there is a desire, there will be a result. Is it favorable or unfavorable? It is not in our hands. What is in our hands is with what purity of intent are we performing the act. You may perform the ritual perfectly, that the priests did. He didn't do anything. He was only the yajman. Whatever they are telling, he is offering it to the fire. But the mantras they are chanting. But now and the yajna will get completed, and that is the requirement of it, and that is to give the dakshina. And there he becomes a bit, he sabotages his own grand ritual that he has just performed. And he's sabotaging it by being attached to something in the future. Why he's holding on to the good cows? For his son. And the son is in pains. Nachiketa is in pains to watch this going on. And thus, Pito daka ho gaya. And thus he approached his father, and But how does he tell his father? How does he tell his father? Does he go and tell dad, you are doing it wrong? That is uncultured. That is what today's children are the bosses. The parents are afraid of their children. Their parents are afraid of going into the room of the children. See? That is not our culture. That is not a cultured upbringing. So this young boy, even as he still is wanting the best for his father and thinking in this manner that what can I do to not go and say bluntly to the father that dad, you are doing it wrong. Instead, he has a different thought process in his mind. He is thinking, father is holding back something, and think this way. When he goes and says that Sahovacha pitaram tata kasmai mam dasyasiti dvitiyam tritiyam tagang hovacha mrityave tva dadamiti. So the saha uvacha pitaram tata kasmai mam dasyasiti. He went and asked his father that to whom will you give me? But what is the intention behind? The intention behind is a child is an extension of father. So it is his property, the body is his property, whose father's property. So he says, yeah, I should offer myself. Also, why he is protecting me? Forget about protecting the good cows. Why is he protecting me? Why is he not giving me away to someone? Because you have to give up everything in donation. And with this, and he says that even if I give myself up, it will be a small price to pay so that my father goes to the heaven, because such rituals are done to go to heaven. Wherever there is a desire as grand as divine or spiritual or God-oriented it may be, if it is a desire, it can only take you to some sort of heaven. It will not give you liberation. And the son understands. He says, my father must get that destination. And he must not only give up everything, he must give me also. And therefore he goes and says, Kasmai mam dasyamiti. And when he goes to the father gets a bit irritated and he says, no, see, another way of, this is not given in the Shankar Bhashya, I am adding things to it in contemplation, live contemplation, and that is, when Nachiketa is asking, Dvitiyam, Tritiyam, Tagang Hovacha, first time he asked, father just brushed him away, get lost. Again he went, pulled his lungi, dad, whom will you offer me to? Second time, third time, and just out of anger, out of frustration, out of as it was told here, Nayam Kumara Swabhava iti kruddha sanpita tamha putram kilovacha mrityave vaivasvataya tvam dadamiti. So when he says na ayam Kumara Swabhava iti, such a behavior is not right for such a young child. This is how the father is thinking. Because the child is persistent. First time, second time, and when the third time comes, the father thinks this way and becomes angry. And then it says, iti kruddaha sanpita tamha putram kilovacha. And in response, thus he became angry. And in response, he told him, go, I give you unto death. Now, it does not mean that he goes to death. He is giving it today. It's out of frustration. Just like we say, go to hell. So many times people speak to each other, go to hell. It doesn't mean that you are going to hell. Why? Because your words don't have power. That is the problem. Forget about help. Our children, we tell, hey, go and get me a glass of water. He says, why don't you get it yourself? Don't you have legs? Our words have no power. The Sankalpa Shakti is not there. The Shuddhata, the purity of speech is not there. Therefore, our words do not have an impact on the one who hears. But his father is a Brahmin. He is his son. Their father, Vajashravas, he was also a great donor. That parampara, that what do you call parampara? That lineage, what was happening in the parent with the grandfather, same the father was also continuing. And now it is reaching its climax in Nachiket, where he is himself offering himself completely. Swami Krishnananda of Divine Life, he says that he asked 3 times. Prathamam, Dvitiyam, Titiyam. Tagang ho vacha. So why did he ask 3 times? As long as naturally it feels, no, that I am an independent person, that I am separate to my father, that I have an independent life, I am an individual. So when a child is, see how high his thinking is, this kid's. When he is offering himself to his father, to whom will you offer me? He is surrendering his individuality at that young age itself. And individuality is expressing at 3 levels: gross, subtle, and causal. Sthula, Sukshma, and Karana Sharir. So our Sharir, our body is at 3 levels: gross body, the waker; subtle body, the dreamer; causal body, the sleeper. So he is offering all three of them he is offering at the to be given away. If someone says, a lover goes and tells his girlfriend, darling, you are so beautiful, like a moon, your face is like a moon. Now when he says, he is doing upama. He's comparing the beauty of the moon with the beauty of the face of the girlfriend. But it does not mean that the moon's shape is round face, so face of the girlfriend is round. She says, are you abusing me or are you praising me? Similarly, when he says here, I give you to the go, I give you to death, it does not mean, it says, get lost, man. Hey, don't trouble me anymore. But the moment he has said that, now we are done up till here, and then now it is the father's. We don't know. Nachiketa has observed the attachment to the good cows, the miserliness with which he is giving all those cows which require maintenance, but we are not able to give anything in return. Such an act by his father, Nachiket could not handle it, and therefore he approached. And now when the father says, go to death I give, in the Shankar Bhashya, in the beginning of the 5th verse, it says, Sa eva muktaha putra ekante paridevayanchakara katham iti uchyate. When father said in this manner that, go, I give you to death, the boy, Nachiket, he moved to one side, stood in silence. A 6-7-year-old, imagine yourself, 6-7-year-old, someone told you, I give you to death. You will be shocked, isn't it? Someone like us, oh, I don't want to die. Daddy, why you are telling me like this? What did I do? This, blah, 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 cry. Our Nachiket, no. He went into silence. What happens when you get into silence? All the flurry of thoughts which were the resultant of this statement of his father. Huh? Which are the resultant statement of this father. They became quiet. And he got some clarity. Because only in a quiet mind you can get clarity. If the mind is fluttering like a leaf, why did I say like this? All different options will come in the mind, and judgment of the father will come. And why do I deserve it? Self-pity will come, and very quickly a person loses the plot at that moment. And this is what happens to majority of the people, those who are not integrated enough. See? And therefore, let's move on to the fifth verse. Fifth verse says, Bahunamemi prathamo, Bahunamemi prathamo, Bahunamemi madhyamaha, Bahunamemi madhyamaha, Kim svidyamasya kartavyam, Kim svidyamasya kartavyam, Yanmayadya karishyati, Yanmayadya karishyati. And in that way, so thinking in this manner, that again I'm saying the high level of contemplation that is going on in our Nachiket, thinking that he has to give up his eye, the physical eye, the subtle eye, the causal eye, meaning he is ready to surrender his individuality. We all, I am someone. I am the son. I am a boy. I am a 7-year-old. I was born. I have a mother also. How can only father say, give me to death? He didn't take permission from mother. All these thoughts did not go through his mind. This is the positive approach to everything. Positive approach to everything. Negative approach leads to depression and suicide. Positive approach leads to integration. And integration will lead to equanimity. And when you have lived a life for a long time equanimously, then by grace, someday it will click and you will abide in the self. That is this Jnana Mudra. So, Bahunamemi prathamo, Bahunamemi madhyamaha, Kim svidyamasya kartavyam, Yanmayadya karishyati. He says, now this is contemplation going on. Remember, he went away to the side when father said like this, and in silence, he started contemplating. He started thinking. What did he think? He thought that Bahunamemi prathamaha, among many, I am the best. This is self-confidence. This is not arrogance. He would never say that, but now the situation demands. He's self-analyzing himself. He's assessing where he stands in life. We also keep telling you every night before going to sleep, assess yourself. Did you live the day like it was your last day of life? You eat food like it is the last meal, the last supper. But everything else you do as if there is a long life ahead in front of you. Khana aega, food will come in front of you, it is the last meal. It reminds me, Last Supper, then get crucified. You will be crucified. But there in his story, the Last Supper, Last Supper, that was the Last Supper before crucifixion. Anyway, so here, there also crucifixion, here Lord of Death, same, parallel chal raha hai. So he says, Bahunamemi Prathamaha, among many I am the best. Good, better, best. Or best, good, and not so good. Keep it that way, whichever way you put. So he says, among many, who among many? Among many students, because father had so many students. Every day the classes were going on. Among many, I am Prathama. Prathama means the first, meaning the best. Bahunamemi Madhyamaha. And yet, among many others, I'm not so bad. I am little less than the best in certain subjects, because everyone is not perfect at every subject. So among many, I am the best. Among many others, I am second best. But here it is unwritten statement that I'm never the last. So I'm never the backbencher. I'm never the backbencher. I'm never the dull one who does not understand, who is not inspired to study, who is not inspired to practice what is taught, who is not inspired to carry out the contemplation, the homework, the exercises that are given. I am either the best or the second best, but never the last. Kim svidyamasya kartavyam yan mayadya karishyati. He says, what is kim svidyamasya kartavyam? What is such work that Yamraj, the Lord of that, has, that needs to be get done through me? This is positive approach. He's not afraid of death. Not one moment in this whole dialogue are we seeing that he's afraid. That is courage. That is faith. That is integrity. So here we see the son is more matured than the father. Sometimes it happens, no? More mature than father. Father is only going after, he's showing miserliness in giving away the donation, but the son is ready to give himself up for the sake of the father. So what is that, what my father wants to achieve, or what is that which the Yamraj, what work Yamraj is going to get done through me, by me, my father giving me to the Lord of Death in that manner. So he's thinking like this. So now what our, who is this? Adi Shankaracharya ji says, Bahunam Shishyanam Putranam Vaimi Gachami Prathamaha San Mukhyaya Shishyadi Vrutye iti Arthaha. among the many students, among the children, I'm the first. I'm among the first. In other words, I'm always in the front. I'm always inspired. I'm always one of the best students in everything that is being asked to be done or practiced, etc. And with such, I always have that type of attitude in my mind. When he says here, uh, सत मुख्यया शिष्यादि वृत्ति इति अर्थः. Shishyadi vritti. Vritti means thoughts. I am having the best thoughts, inspired thoughts. I want to excel in whatever is being taught. This is his self-assessment. Are we, in our own eyes, excellent in whatever we do? Yes, only in eating food and in being lazy. What about everything else? No, in what you speak, in what you do, in what your job is, how you walk, how you dress, how you move, how you remove your slippers, how you walk with slippers, pachak, 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 or their leg, the slippers are falling properly without making any sound. Are you prim and proper? Are you a hygienic person? Is your surrounding clean? Are you practicing the yama niyama? That will make you, that will integrate you immediately if you practice yama niyama. Ahimsa, arjavam, brahmacharyam, asteya, shaucha, etc., etc. So what is our self-assessment? And there's nothing wrong if we are a little bit less. But our attitude is very important. That we want to move up. Wherever we are, accept it, put the what you call, the benchmark higher for yourself every time. And madhyamanam cha bahunam madhyamaha madhyama eva vritti imi. And among the and in the second category students, those who are not so in certain subjects and many other students, I am at least mediocre. I am not that bad. I'm a mediocre with mediocre thoughts, that sometimes we don't have interest in certain subjects. Like you tell me mathematics, I'm far away. Accountancy, I'm far away from it. But certain, you ask me to talk to a wall, I can talk to a wall. I'm doing it. They're talking to a screen. Koi nahi hai samne. Bole ja rahe. But you ask me to do some accountancy work or computer work or this, I'm not good at it. I'm not good at many things. But that does not mean that I am not good at everything. No, there are certain areas where I know what my capacity is. I know that even if I'm mediocre in certain areas, but my attitude is not mediocre. My attitude is that of inspiration and excellence, to persist. And so he says here that among the medium type of students, I am also medium. Na adhamaya kadachidapi. Na adham. Adham means I am never the last one. I'm never the worst student who does not understand anything, who does not follow anything, who does not practice anything. I'm never like that. This is his self-assessment. These are the qualities that we must inculcate within ourselves. Again, when it was told San Mukhyaya, Sat Mukhyaya means Sat means the truth, inspired, bright. Na adhamaya kadachid api tamevam विशिष्ट गुणमपि putram mam मृत्यवेत्वा dadamiti uktavan pita. To such a special son with such good qualities, who's among the best, he's the best among the mediocre, among other, he's mediocre but never the worst. To such a good son, to such an inspired son, to such a focused student, because the Nachiket is the son also and student also, remember this. But here in the Bhashya, it's taken as putra only, Vishishta Gunamapi Putram. And you can take Putram in two ways. For a father also, the children are called Putra, and for the Guru also, yes, the student says, I am a Shishya and he is my Guru. But for Guru, all the Shishyas are like children alone. He takes care of them in that manner. So we can take it, so that word has that significance there. So for such a son with such qualities, how can my father say, Mam mrityavetva dadamiti? How can he say, go, I give you to the death itself? Uktavan pita, my father had said. He started contemplating in this way. So it is not against his father. Again, very important. He is not judging his father. We at a drop of a hat judge the world. We at a drop of a hat, if someone has the other fellow's mistake, we will never accept our mistake while driving. So here the attitude is totally full responsibility for every action that is taking place. Our existence in this life is also our responsibility. What we are experiencing in this life is also our responsibility. What joys and sorrows are coming in our life is also our responsibility, because such are the seeds that we have sowed, no, in the past. So he's taking full responsibility. So he's saying, so there is no crying, there is no daya bhav or hina bhav. Hina bhav is there is no self-pity in our Nachiketa. Instead, with a cool mind, with a balanced mind, with an integrated mind, in silence, he is contemplating in this manner. Sa kim svidyamasya kartavyam prayojanam maya prattena karishyati yat kartavyam adya. But what is that duty, what is that purpose of Lord of Death which needs to be completed, which needs to be done, which needs to be achieved by the Lord of Death, which made my father tell me to go, I give you to the Lord of Death. See, he's not afraid of death. He's not afraid of death. Instead, he's thinking, what is the purpose that the Yamraj wants to achieve through me by my father giving me to him? Will you ever think like this? He's 7-year-old. Matured way beyond. So thinking in this manner, nunam prayojanam anapekshaiva krodha vashad uktavan pita. Certainly, my father has uttered these words, go I give you to death, only out of anger. There is no purpose behind it. He's thinking. Tathapi tat pitur vachaha mrusha ma bhuditi evam matva paridevana purvakam aha pitaram shoka vishtam kim mayoktam iti. Even then, whatever my father has said, it cannot, my father being a guru cannot say something just for the heck of it. We used to, even now, we hang on to the words of our teacher. So therefore, when I get to travel with him, I am in silence. Because he will say something somewhere to me, and it is like a million-watt bulb. Suddenly it clicks. And I'm not silenced out of fear, or I'm not in whatever vyavhar, whatever the interaction is going on, going, driving, organizing, all that is going on. But no loose talk with him. No loose talk with him. Laughter, yes. Jokes, yes, every here and then. Not all the time. So he says that my father's words should not go to waste. This is a sign of a cultured being. Matru devo bhava, pitru devo bhava, guru devo bhava, atithi devo bhava. So he has come out of the Shishu age. Shishu is till you are not able to talk, speak, etc., eat by yourself, when you are only in the lap of your mother. So he has passed that age. He is now brahmachari. He, not even brahmachari, or yeah, brahmachari, 7-year-old. See? So he is thinking, the words of my father should not go to waste. Should not be. Here he says, what is the word? Tat pitur vachaha mrusha ma bhuditi evam matva paridevana purvakam aha. So my words of my father should not go to waste. Thinking in this manner, he and thinking also that maybe my father, after saying that, go I give you to death, he must be repenting. Oh my God, what did I say to my son? It is possible, isn't it? We say so many things and afterwards we say, sorry, 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 I didn't mean that. But once the word has come out, you can't take it back in. How many sorries will you say? So here Nachiket is thinking that the father must be thinking that, how can I say something like that to my son? Because he's standing in silence a little bit further away. He must be feeling, my father must be feeling guilty for those words uttered. Thinking in this manner, and seeing that maybe my father is uncomfortable and he is being miserable after having uttered such words, he went to his father and spoke. What did he say? No. He spoke. So what are the few things that we need to understand here? That the father is the father, Nachiket's father is father as well as guru. Second question, his self-assessment is very clear. I am the best, sometimes the second best, but never the worst. Third, he is not judging his father. Instead, he is thinking that if my father has said, what is that purpose? What is that great work, kartavyam? What is that great work which needs to be, which the Yamraj wants to accomplish through me by my father giving me away to him? Third. Fourth, he is not thinking ill about his father. He is in fact thinking that father is sad, he is miserable because he has uttered these words. And therefore, I must put his mind to rest. The child is thinking that I must put my, it's not written here, but I am saying that the child wants to go and wants to put his father's mind to rest. Rather than, if we were children, why did you speak like that? Me, you don't love me, you don't care for me, you are selfish, all this will say and get away from there. Create a racket and go away. Not Nachiket. So here we need to see that the Samarpan is surrender. Complete surrender of the student to the guru and the son to the father. Because without the grace of the guru, without, here we are not thinking about, he's not thinking about grace also. He is only thinking, how can I offer myself completely at the feet of the teacher? But we are in competition. Wife is competition with husband, husband in competition with wife. If wife loves the son more, the husband in competition with son. These things happen in every family. And then in the private moments, he will tell, nowadays you are giving too much attention to the son and you have forgotten me. See? But here Nachiket is not like that. See, life is about how do you express your samarpan? How do you express your surrender? How do you express your availability to the teacher? Only one way. How does a wife express her love for the husband, or the husband express the love for the wife, or parents for the children, or children for the parents? Parents do, children I don't know. How? Sacrifice. The word is sacrifice. Love is not expressed through hugging and smooching and kissing and buying presents. That is superficial. But the child knows mother, he loves the mother because mother, without any questions, is always there for the child. She forgets her food, takes care of, feeds the child. She forgets sleep, makes the child sleep. Same thing should be in every relationship. Then you see how beautiful this whole world of relationship will be. Because then everyone is competing to sacrifice for the other. But in today's society, what is happening? Everyone is fighting for their individual rights. This is where the problem is. If nobody wants to do what they are supposed to do as a part of the society, but they want everything from the society because of individual rights. But don't you have right as a citizen? Don't you have a right as a community, a part of being a part of a community? Don't you have any responsibilities being a part of a family? That we don't want to address. But what is the group doing for me? What is the family doing for me? What is the society doing for me? What is the government doing for me? What is the God doing for me? Poor me, help. Nobody is taking care of me. Nobody asks me anything. Go into depression. The one who is ready to sacrifice, there's no question of depression. He's finding new ways of serving the teacher, the family, the society, the country. Ultimately, the best is the divine. And that divine alone is expressing in the entire. Sacrifice is the name, is the word. And Nachiket is ready to sacrifice himself. And therefore he said, whom will you give me, O dad? Whom will you offer me? This is the lesson, very big lesson that we need to learn in our life. Live a life of sacrifice. Don't live a life of demand. And when you live a righteous life, sacrifice will be the norm. When we live desire-oriented life, then it becomes a right-oriented life. If you cook, I will wash. Comparison, competition, calculation, matter of fact living. We are human beings. We are emotional. Life is about love. Not love out of attachment, love per se. And that love expresses through sacrifice. See? So when our goal is clear, that we want to know the spirit, there is no hesitation like in Nachiketa. He is ready to give up his 3 bodies. He is ready to surrender his individuality. And second part, so this is the interpretation, not by Shankaracharya, I am adding to it. And the second one, that without a guru, without learning at the feet of the guru, without the grace of the Guru Maharaj, our progress is impossible. Our understanding is impossible. Because when we try to study something by ourselves, see, you will say, oh, we are listening to you, but in the end, you only say that I can only teach. Kena Upanishad also, the teacher said, this is how you can teach, rest is up to you. Whether you study, whether you understand or you don't understand, that's your problem. So in the end, it all falls back to us. Yes, it does fall back to you. But you listen to from a Guru Maharaj, from a teacher, from an Acharya first. Then you contemplate on it. And that contemplation is, see, our problem, you know where it is? We listen plenty. You're listening. Some of you are listening Wednesdays, Thursdays, Sunday mornings, Saturdays. This is Shravanam. Are you doing Mananam? Are you reflecting on what you have heard in the class, in the satsang? Or it's another fad, it's another addiction. Chalo, Wednesday aa gaya, Upanishad, it is very nice story, it's very soothing to hear. As long as it is soothing to hear, it is fantastic. And what we have heard, we are very readily, easily able to communicate to someone else. But we are not ready to apply it on ourselves. This is where mananam is required. To consolidate this information, consolidate this knowledge, so that it percolates every part of your being. That there is no doubt left as regards to what we have heard. Otherwise, just like we are watching news every day, or we watch a movie every day, then sometimes we remember tidbits of the movie, not the whole movie. News every day, 6 o'clock, put the news. Uske baad kya? So many COVID cases, so many deaths, and so many roadblocks, and so many this, and then every day is the same news. Swamiji is also going to talk about Brahman, 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 Brahman. That self is Satchidananda. You are the best. You have to do this. It becomes a lullaby for you, for us. Are we falling into that trap where we have taken it for granted that whether we are available or not available, the teacher is going to speak anyway? So it is not here that you are for the teacher. You are not here for the satsang. You are here for yourself. And you can only serve yourself by your attitude, by your availability, by your surrender, by your faith, by your focus. And this is what Nachiketa did. The moment father said, he went away, collected his mind, remained calm, no fluttering of the mind. Started thinking pros and cons of the statement. And we just now mentioned all the points. Having sorted it out within himself, he approached his father. Not straight away blurted it out as a reaction. When you think out, if someone has said something and you think over it and then come back to that person, it is called response. Response is where mind and intellect have integrated. A reaction is only emotional. If you read or watch TV sometimes, in the news, throughout the world, not only in Australia, they have stopped using the word response. They only use the word reaction. The Prime Minister's reaction was this. Daniel Andrews' reaction was that. This person's reaction was that. This team's reaction was that to that team. There's no word response. Reaction is emotional, instinctive. Response is thought out, deliberate, after contemplation, after discrimination, then response comes out. All these things need to be applied on ourselves. So he's not feeling sad, he's not feeling depressed, he's not feeling self-pity. Instead, he has made it into a positive spin in his mind. What is that something great that is going to be achieved through me by the Lord of Death, by me being sent to the death, sent to the Lord of Death? He has given it a positive spin. Now with that, we come to the next verse. Where are we? And which verse we are in? 6th, isn't it? Right. 6th. This is very important verse. Learn it by heart. अनुपश्य यथा पूर्वे, अनुपश्य यथा पूर्वे, प्रतिपश्य तथा परे, प्रतिपश्य तथा परे, सस्यमिव मर्त्य पच्यते, सस्यमिव मर्त्य पच्यते, सस्यमिव जायते पुनः, सस्यमिव जायते पुनः. टुगेदर. अनुपश्य यथा पूर्वे, प्रतिपश्य तथा परे, सस्यमिव मर्त्य पच्यते, सस्यमिव जायते पुनः. Anupashya yatha purve. Just as our forefathers, our ancestors used to act or acted, anupashya yatha purve, pratipashya tatha pare. Think in that manner. He's still thinking. He's not gone to his father yet. He's still contemplating. So he says, just like our ancestors acted. How did they act? They acted with integrity. They acted it for the total good. They were never selfish. They always sacrificed their life for the higher. Because remember, Vajashravasa, he was a great donator of food. His father is also doing Vishwajit Yagya. That is also, he is giving away everything that he possesses, or should be doing that. But some error there a little bit. So he's thinking of his ancestors, forefathers, and he says, oh, okay. So when he says, Pratipashya tatha pare, so he's telling his father, like our ancestors used to act, look at them, how they acted, think about it, and think about in the present time how people are acting. So he's not saying how you are acting. Very, very important. He's saying, think of how in the present times people are acting. Please compare the two. Then sasyameva martyaha pachyate, sasyameva jayate punaha. Human being is like a sasya is grass. Truna sasya or so just as grass is cut, once it is grown, it is cut. You do lawn mowing, you don't cut it, you do lawn mow. But after you do lawn mow, again it grows up. Isn't it? Same way, sasyamiva jay martya pachyate. Just as similarly, when humans become old, they die. Sasyamiva jayate puna, and again they are reborn. This is at relative level we are talking. We are not talking from Brahman. Take that away. Remember, his father is only giving everything away to go to heavens. He's not, his goal is not realization. Uddalaka or Vajashravasa Gautam, the father of Nachiket, the result of his act of ritual is only heaven. And another rule here, anyone, if you go to any of the heavens, why do you go there? Because you have collected merit on the earth, you have done good deeds with the desire to go to heaven. So you have gone to heaven. When your merit is over, again you are thrown back on earth to be born again, and again life will continue. And this is the journey of a human being. So he's thinking in this manner. So here, where are we? in the, we can read this till time. अनुपश्य आलोचय निभालय अनुक्रमेण यथा येन प्रकारेण वृत्ताः पूर्वे अधिक्रान्ताः पितृपितामहादयः तव. So here he says that he says your father, your great grandfather, your grandfather, etc., systematically the manner in which they used to conduct themselves, think about that. यथा येन प्रकारेण वृत्ताः पूर्वे अतिक्रान्तः पितृपिता महादयः तव. Think about them, how they used to have a look. Anupashya means have a look. And when we say that, have a look, and thinking about them, contemplating on how they used to conduct themselves, act in life, what standards they followed in their life. You walk on their steps, Dad. Small child is telling the dad. You walk on their steps. He can't say. The decorum doesn't allow him to tell his father and teacher that he is wrong. Instead, he's going roundabout way. That, oh dad, oh teacher, here it is dad because dad is doing the sacrifice, that please look at our forefathers, what standards they lived up to, and that you should also walk their footsteps. Then it says, yet yatha yena prakarena vritta purve atikrantaha pitru pitamahadayah tava. Contemplate on that. And tan drushtva cha tesham vrittam asthatum arhasi. And here he says, tan drashtva, having looked at their conduct, and tan drashtva, and having looked at their conduct, tesham vrittam asthatum arhasi. We must inculcate those standards in our life. You understand? Vartamanaha cha apare sadhavaha yatha vartante तांश्च प्रतिपश्य आलोचय तथा नचतेषु मृषाकरणं वृत्तं वर्तमानं व अस्ति. And also in the present times, the others, who are the others? If you can't remember your ancestors, forefathers, at least in today's times, look at all who Vartamanah cha apare sadhavaha. Look at the sadhus, look at the saints and sages. Yatha vartante tanscha pratipashya alochaya. Look at their conduct, look at their standards, look at their sacrifice, look at their attitudes. How they conduct themselves in this life. They should be our ideal. See, when we say Swami Paramananda Saraswati, immediately the weight of the lineage which we belong, the Swami name belongs to, who Sringeri Peeth, to who so many thousand years till 8th century, and who's the originator? Adi Shankaracharya. So I belong to that unbroken lineage of Shankaracharyas. In that lineage, I have had the grace of being initiated. Then that, so if not, at least I must inculcate those qualities, those that knowledge, those scriptures which they followed, those conducts that they followed. I can't keep a name of Swami Paramananda Saraswati, which belongs to the Shankaracharya and Sringeri Peeth Parampara, and live contrary to those standards. That this cloth should not get the wrong name, this name must not get the wrong name, the name Saraswati should not get the wrong name. People should not say that, or ye to Ponga Pandit, he lives as a sannyasi, but he's a bhogi, not a yogi. If I start living like that, not only I will get condemned, this person will get condemned, the name will get condemned, people will lose faith in the sannyas order, that if you go to him, he uses you and abuses you. So we carry this, when initiation is given, it's a great responsibility. And if we can't remember our parampara because it is gone and over and past, at least if you have come with me and there are enough YouTube masters, if you can search the various saints and sages, listen to their biographies, or watch their life movies. It's great inspiration. They're only 100, 200 years old. Some of them are still living. So here he says that Vartamanah cha apare sadhavaha yatha vartante. As they conduct themselves in life, tanscha pratibhashya alochaya tatha nachateshu. Conduct yourself according to that and not contrary to it. Alochaya tatha nachateshu mrusha karanam vruttam vartamanam va asti. So so whatever these people, these sadhus say, do, that we must do in our life, inculcate in our life. See, many people are professional satsangis, they go to Mahatmas, they have the same question to each Mahatma, as if they are testing him. As if they are testing him. As if he gives the right answer, then he is a valid Mahatma. He is a valid sannyasi. He is a valid teacher. What audacity that you are testing the teacher. If that attitude is there, the knowledge will never get transferred. Knowledge gets transferred only where there is faith. Only where there is faith. There is no human being on this planet, past, present, or future, who is not having some shortcoming in him. You cannot find a perfect human being. You cannot. Even in Ramchandraji, some people found mistakes. Even in Krishna, who is Purna Purusha, people found that he was, they thought he was a con man. Maryada Purushottam, in him also they found fault. So there is, what to talk about you, me, and other saints and sages. There will always, because our attention when we are looking at sadhus, when we are looking at Mahatmas, our attention is on their body. Our attention is not on their knowledge. Our attention is not on their words. Our attention is on their body. So when we say Swami Paramananda Saraswati or Swami Anubhavananda Saraswati or Satya Sai Baba, Shirdi Sai Baba, immediately the picture comes in the eye, in front of the eye. But what is Swami Anubhavananda Saraswati? It denotes Parabrahma Paramatma. Swami Paramananda Saraswati, it denotes infinite bliss. Does your attention go to infinite bliss, or does your attention go to the white beard, black hair, and some color cloth that fellow is always eating our head every Wednesday? Think. Something to contemplate. And as long as your attention is on the form of some person, any Mahatma, you will always find some fault in him. Body can never be perfect. Actions can never be perfect. Remember, actions can never be perfect. Actions happen in Prakriti, and Prakriti is not perfect. It's ever changing. There is only one perfect in this creation, and that is Paramatma. That is the self. That is the spirit. That is the infinite reality, the pure consciousness. Everything apart from that is imperfect. So now, when we are in a conversation here, so is your attention on the words, available to the words, and attentive of the consciousness that you are? Or are you sitting and comparing this knowledge with what you have read? Are you sitting here and contemplating, listening and thinking, acha, theek hai, haan, अच्छा time, 1.5 hours nicely over. How much time left? 2 more minutes left. Acha, theek hai. That attitude will not take us anywhere. Then we are wasting our time. Then it is better you go enjoy, eat food, enjoy the movie, and be happy that way. But if we are seekers, and if there is mumukshutvam in us, Upanishads are taught to a person who has vivek, vairagya, shatka sampatti, mumukshutvam. These are the basic qualities that are required. Or if there is some, your intention is to have these, but you are working towards them, that is also okay. But mumukshutvam should be there, that I want to liberate in this life. Rest will automatically fall in place. To such a student, Upanishads are being taught. Upanishads are not being taught to a person who is judging the Mahatma, judging the teacher, judging the scriptures. Is it right or is it wrong? How can he say that? How can he not say that? Yeah. Our complete availability is required. And when we are completely available to the Upanishad, to the teaching, to the satsang, the dissolution of our ego is instantaneous. It's instantaneous. Tad vibritam asatam vrittam mrushakaranam. Then he says, tad vibritam asatam vrittam mrushakaranam. Opposite to this conduct of the sadhus, we must not act in any condition in the present time. Now this is your homework now. Time is over. We'll stop here and we'll continue from here next week. What is our homework? Take these qualities of Nachiket. I have mentioned it three times, the same thing again and again, so that it goes deep into our psyche. Listen to the lecture again, write it down, assess yourself. Are you up to the mark, or what attitudes need to change? Are you available or not available? Are you still after? Are you living a life of sacrifice or competition or comparison or desire? Are you living for the greater good or only for your self good? If this 6-year, 7-year-old boy can have such attitudes, such availability, such maturity, why am I falling short? Where am I lacking? Answer is only one: faith. So assess yourself and come back in the next class. You will find you will have a deeper interaction with this Upanishad then. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. The verse is one, but see the depth with which we enter into it if you start opening the hidden meaning behind it. Otherwise, you read by yourself the Upanishad. What will you remember? How our forefathers acted. Consider also how others now act. Like corn decays the mortal, like corn is born again. How the grass eventually dies and eventually grows again. So what will you understand with that? Very superficial understanding. Now we have spent 1 hour, 1.5 hours thinking only about this verse. This is what the satsang does. So never study Upanishads or any scriptures on your own. Always study from a teacher, because behind the teacher, it's not about me, it's about any teacher. Because whatever that parampara is, they have studied in that parampara. It has come from Adi Shankaracharya time. Nothing we are talking is, I'm giving examples of today and some things out of observation, but the crux of the explanation is what Shankaracharya has given there. And what is its interpretation that we heard from our teacher heard from his teacher, he heard it from his teacher, and it goes on back to Shankaracharya. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Just sit quietly for a minute.